Forums where fans used to congregate, banned from Facebook groups, terrorized on Twitter, and in some cases, much, much worse. You'd see creators and actors from the show, both old and new, worship these degenerates while attacking the rest of us. We who kept the show alive during the wilderness years. We who were the reason the show came back. We who were the ones who made it successful again. And we who stood...
Whoa, Bowlestrek, what's this we shit? I never... In my opinion, you're not a part of this we nonsense. Like, you know, honestly, if you can accept, like, you know, even the bad eras of the show, like, as, you know, a part of the show itself, then, you know, I'm sorry, you're not welcome.
By the show when it started to fall apart during the later Moffat years. Attacking the fans was a common practice as franchises, one after one, were falling. But there was something just so nefarious about the way this was done to now mostly former Doctor Who fans. Now let's go to last spring. As I said, I was pretty much done with New Who. You just can't force yourself to like something again when you have spent 5 years covering its demise in graphic detail. I didn't think anything would change under RTD, but I was mildly curious. Then came the announcement of Ncuti Gatwa as the 14th or I guess 15th Doctor. Contrary to what the fake activists said my initial response was quite different. While I wasn't a fan anymore, I was somewhat interested as a casual viewer. I was thinking, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll focus on story again. Maybe the show will at least be watchable again. That lasted for only a couple of hours, and then there was the now infamous scene on the red carpet.
You know, Doctor Who aside, both of you up for so many awards today. It's really celebratory because TV has meant more than ever, I think, over the last year, the last couple of years. What has it meant to you?
I have just loved seeing the strides taken in terms of representation, and I think like there's a lot more that we can do. There's a lot being done.
Yeah,
there's a lot of wonderful things being done. But yeah, just seeing the diversity on screen is been great and pushing that. Yeah.
I feel like we've all got a lot bolder with the messages and the conversations that we're opening up using TV, via TV.
With that clip, hopes that things would...
So what? If a show's gonna have some representation, what's the problem with that? Like, I don't know.
Be better were dashed in an instant. We know what those buzzwords diversity and inclusion and so forth mean. Then the fake activists went into overdrive, and the fraction of the fandom that was left was divided in half again. It was shortly after this that I decided I was out. 5 years, the first 3 trying to save the franchise, and the last 2 watching it burn itself to the ground was enough. I was done with the culture war. I was sick of it, and I figured it was going to come to an end soon anyway, because how the hell could anybody afford to sustain this? But it keeps going. As stated, my initial goal was to save the show. Sadly, it now seemed obvious that there was no chance of saving it now. From there, I just shook my head at news as it came through on my Twitter feed. First there was what I can only call a bait and switch. Oh look, it's David Tennant, he's coming back. This will bring people back surely. Well, it will bring some back, at least for the first of his 3 episodes as a novelty. Don't know if it's going to make much of an impact over here in the US and Canada. The show is done here, the final nail in the...
First of all, you're wrong about that. Doctor Who is going to be available on Disney Plus, you know, outside of the UK, and Ireland. So, they are going to be, like... These, like, 60th anniversary specials and onwards, they're going to be on Disney Plus, you know, outside the UK. So, I mean, we do still have a way to watch these episodes, so I'm not sure what you're talking about there.
Coffin was arachnids in the UK, which was intended as a 40-minute insult to Americans. Also, the show over here exploded under Matt Smith, not David Tennant, and Matt Smith won't even do Big Finish audios. More on them later. Also, allow me to reference Star Trek Picard Seasons 1 and 2. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Context disclaimer time again. So those of you madly writing angry comments might as well skip ahead because you're just going to ignore these anyway. Those of us in the normal world don't care what you do with your own life. We don't care what you identify as. You just do you, and we'll do our own thing. We have a problem when you are given powers to police people based on language, and force the use of language when you infiltrate long-standing fandoms and those in power place you at the top and tell everyone else to shut the hell up and listen to your betters, and when you try to push your beliefs on 5-year-olds, you know, people whose brains are still developing, without the permission of their parents, then yeah, that's when we have a problem. We don't judge you based on who or what you are. We judge you based on your actions. When it came to fandom, this group, which was only a very...
If you're bringing up Doctor Who as part of this, like, you know, oh, you're brainwashing young children to think about stuff like this. First of all, like, even with all this, like, inclusion stuff that Doctor Who is doing, like, you claim that it's not, gonna be very story-focused. You claim it's just gonna be, all focused on representation and agenda or whatever it is, when I don't think that's gonna be the case, Doctor Who, first of all, like, it's an important part, the Doctor, is not a very, is not xenophobic or racist like you are. Like, the Doctor's willing to accept, like, anybody, regardless of, like, what species or gender or, what they identify as, The Doctor's a lot more accepting of those kind of people than you are, apparently. But yeah, like, you claim that that's gonna be, like, the main focus of, like, this next new era of Doctor Who, when it probably is not going to be. Like, the Doctor is still gonna be the Doctor, regardless of what they look like, Obviously, each Doctor's different from one another, but, like, all in all, there's still a very intelligent Time Lord. That's, like, the main trait there is. That's kind of all there is to it.
A small fraction of fandom previously, as I said, completely took over, and they were some of the nastiest and most unhinged people. Honestly, some of the worst people I've ever come across.
Nastiest person. Honestly, that best describes you, Bowlestrek.
Did battle with them for years, and often got called out by the elitist asshats that run this franchise for daring to challenge the new overlords of fandom. Many fans, actually, most fans, simply left. Great marketing strategy, BBC. Put all your weight behind the people that were actively chasing away your customers, as if what's happening on television screens wasn't enough already to send people running for the hills. So, needless to say, anybody that was considering coming back was understandably apprehensive about this certain group. It's not that we were saying you had no right to be fans or participate in fandom, that's what you were telling us. But if RTD, the BBC, and Bad Wolf were really interested in bringing fans back, then it might have been a good idea to stop the pandering to what was a small fraction that was allowed to completely take over, or at least pump the brakes a bit. But no, the Tennant bait and switch was followed by this announcement. Doctor Who's Yasmin Finney says Rose casting will change the world. The word I don't think I'm even allowed to say anymore, actress, will be making her Doctor Who debut. Back in the day, I would cover the entire article by yelling at...
Alright, first of all, like, I don't think saying the word transgender's bad. Calling them a slur is, but, like, just saying that word is not cancelable. Making fun of them, however, is cancelable.
But in this case, I don't think we need to. The headline tells you everything you need to know. If you wanted to endear yourself to anyone, a better idea would be to humbly accept your role, be grateful, and not go on about your political identification!
Jesus Christ, Bowlestrek, calm the fuck down, man. God. Man, that guy went, like, full-on, like, rage mode right there. He was about to go Super Saiyan on that. Holy shit. Oh, man. Hey, I think I know what Bowlestrek's fear is. Apparently, like, he walks down the street, he sees somebody who's trans. Ah! God damn it.
But no, here we're going to change the world. Now, where have we heard this before? This isn't about the show, it's about the message. It's about narcissism. It's about anything but...
Okay, where does narcissism fall into place? Like, where are you getting this from, Bowlestrek? Like I've said multiple times in this video, I need resources.
A man who travels through time in a police box. I just stood by the sidelines for this one and watched Twitter explode while good-intentioned but ultimately incorrect fans tried to downplay it. The writing was on the wall, folks. This is about pushing an agenda. I wonder what Sony thinks about all this. Then we learned that this character that was asexual for decades, at least until RTD gave us that cringy Rose 10th Doctor story.
I mean, Doctor technically still is asexual. Like, obviously, these so-called relationships that the Doctor has, like, have always been temporary. Like, they've never been full-time. Like, obviously, the Doctor's, like, over 900 years old, according to the show. So, like, obviously, they've had relationships, like, on and off, like, But I'm, like, in the end of the day, the Doctor's, like, not very romantically attached to a lot of, like, people in general, that's, Because obviously the Doctor knows that at some point they're gonna like outlive those people, basically. Excuse me. So, anyway.
Line was now going to be gay because why stay true to what a character was? The character's already been thrown out the window anyway. I think you're confused.
Neil Patrick Harris says Shudigawa's Doctor Who will be gay and sexier. Let's see. Neil Patrick Harris said Shudigawa's Doctor Who will be the first gay incarnation of the character, and he will be a sexier version. First of all, first gay incarnation of the character. I don't know if like Neil Patrick Harris was specifying that the character itself was going to be gay. Like, he's probably just referring to the fact that the actor who's playing the character is gay. Like, I don't think the Doctor is actually going to be gay. Not that I'm aware of, at least. But I don't know. I think they probably like took this quote like out of context, and he'll be a sexier version. Like, I highly doubt you're going to see like the Doctor like, you know, full blown like without their clothing, you know, with their genitals showing, like, you know, hey, come with me into my tiny box. Like, I highly doubt that's what the Doctor's going to be about. Because I don't know about Shudigawa's like career outside of Doctor Who, but I know he's been like in a lot of like, you know, roles where, you know, he was kind of like a sex appeal character, I guess. I don't know. That's probably what Neil Patrick Harris was referring to. Like, I highly doubt the Doctor's going to be like, you know, this like, hey, want to come into my TARDIS? It's bigger on the inside. Like, that's not going to happen, I don't think.
Russell, this isn't queer as folk. Then, in the new year, came a trifecta of announcements that left no doubt where this was all headed, starting with a god-awful trailer heard round the world. Meet Doom, the universe's greatest assassin. At first, I thought this was a joke or a very bad fan film. But no, it was serious.
Is it me, or does she kind of look like the one, like, I forgot her name, but like the from Love and Monsters, you know, the woman that eventually got turned into like Cement Stone or whatever. Like, she was played by the same actress who played Moaning Myrtle in the Harry Potter movies. That's what she kind of reminds me of. I haven't seen any of these promos, by the way, so I have no idea what this is all about.
A cross-platform dumpster fire that nobody asked for. When the trailer was met with almost universal disdain, we all started being called bigots again. This mystified some people at first. Wait, why are we bigots just for disliking a trailer? Then we found out that Suze Kemper is somewhat of an activist for the message. Then it all made sense. At this point, people were starting to realize what was going on. Also, the elitists in charge of Doctor Who, as usual, didn't do much to ingratiate themselves. Here's a tweet from a Big Finish writer and script editor. Note to the trolls of Who fandom. Trolls? By that you mean your customers. You know.
Okay, let me read that note before Bowlestrek goes on another angry tangent. Note to the trolls of the Who fandom. Do not try to take on a comedian who has already had people far bigger than you coming at her. It's like watching Star Wars fans tangle with Carrie Fisher. She is smarter and funnier than you. You will lose. Honestly, like, whoever this Big Finish writer is trying to defend whoever it is. Like, you know, obviously, like, no comedian or person deserves like any sort of like attacks like that. Like, they're just defending them. Like, there's been a huge history of like, you know, like people of color working for Doctor Who have been harassed online. Like the actress who played Martha, you know, that stuff has happened to her. I think Billy Potts, you know, Bill from Series 10, you know, I think that happened to her too. Like, they're trying to protect these people, basically.
No, the people that pay your bills. Try not to take on a comedian who has already had far bigger people than you coming at her. Actually, most of us had no idea who the hell she was, and if people were coming at her, then I can only think it was her ego that initiated it. Also, the word comedian might be a bit of a stretch. It's like watching Star Wars fans tangle with Carrie Fisher. No, Carrie Fisher was an iconic actress. Again, nobody knows who the hell this is.
Okay, first of all, I did not know who Carrie Fisher was outside of Star Wars, so the fact that you call her an iconic actress is kind of like, I don't know. But what was I even saying? I don't know.
She is smarter and funnier than you. You will lose. That's quite a bit of ass-kissing to the deliverers of the message there. Also, I guess the concept of humor is one that is not in any way objective. Also, it ain't gonna be the fans, i.e. your customers, that will lose. I could imagine that many people won't want to renew their Big Finish subscriptions after this. I mean, why would you want to give your money to a company that holds you in such contempt? Then came another announcement. This person that I've never heard of before who identifies as that word I can't say has now joined the cast. There's representation, Russell, but I can't help but think we're in the realm of over-representation now. Then came the announcement that was the final straw for most people. Drag is not a new thing, and I categorize this under a you do you type of thing, as long as it's not illegal. But the drag issue has been surrounded by controversy recently, the source of which has been the exposure of very young children to, risque drag shows revealing things that no child should see. There are people out there that have made it clear that their intention is to indoctrinate your kids. You don't need to be a biological
Resources. I need sources, Bowlestrek.
science person to understand that young brains are highly malleable, so this isn't a good thing, to put it mildly. If you want to perform this stuff in front of adults, fine, but people have very good reason to not want to subject their kids to this. Doctor Who is, above anything else, a children's show, and that's really the
Not really. Like, I think obviously, like, when the show first came out, it was meant for children, but, like, you know, as time went on, it kind of became a show for everybody. So, it's got stuff that, like, kids and adults would both enjoy. Like, it's not just for kids, Bowlestrek, it's for everybody. It's basically like, you know, animation, you know, it's for everybody.
only fact that we need to know here. This has no place in a children's show, and considering what's been going on, you know, the real world right now, this is not a good look, and parents have every right to be suspicious. The response from Twitter was, as expected, explosive, and those that were able to take over fandom during the years of Chibs the Destroyer now claim full victory. And well, you can't really argue with them there, now can you? The BBC responded to this by burying thousands of tweets trying to portray the image that everyone was behind this. Yeah, they aren't, and many parents will no longer be allowing their kids to watch this show. Apparently on Facebook they were just deleting tweets and blocking people. I wouldn't know because I left Facebook a while ago. The dumpster fire known as Twitter is enough for me. And that's just a rough overview of where the show is now. And it's not in a good place. My sincere sympathies to those that thought the show was saved. And that's all I have for today, but stay tuned for more. I'm Chris from Cultivated Media, and as always everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.
So he has an actual name. So yeah, that was, Bowlestrek's current disastrous state of Doctor Who video. That video, like a lot of Bowlestrek videos, are a huge, huge mess. You know, nothing really, worth talking about, really. It's kind of the same thing he does all the time, like, really just, like, criticizing the show for, like, you know, like, you know, bringing in actors, you know, like, from all over, like, you know, regardless of their race or, what they identify as. I got nothing to say. Bowlestrek, you know, he's... unfortunately, he's made a comeback, and, you know, don't be surprised if I do more videos about him, because honestly, this dude deserves it. You know, he deserves, like, all the flack that he's going to get. And I hope eventually we could just drive him away from the internet again, but we will see when that happens. Hopefully it'll be soon, but who knows. Anyways, that's about it for this video. Now, before I go, I'm going to quickly go over to my previous Bowlestrek video to take a look at the comments, because I gotta bring this up. So, I'm here at my other Bowlestrek video that I did, which obviously has limited ads due to the content discussed here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this episode ends up being like that too, but anyways, this episode might end up being 2 parts, who knows. Yeah, this episode kind of got a little bit of minor controversy, you know, not the biggest like-to-dislike ratio out there. And, you know, comments kind of go all over the place. There's some people that are like, you know, oh no, you're wrong, you know. I got this one guy here, Adam Dare, who says, according to the likes and dislike ratios on every video, it would seem that most people would agree with him on a 10-to-1 ratio. Like, what does that really have to do with anything? Like, you know, the fact that people, like his videos, I feel like shouldn't really play into, like, you know, his opinions and stuff. Like, his opinions on stuff is, like, very, like, damaging to a lot of people, and I don't condone that at all. And I've had, like, you know, some people, like, kind of agreeing with me on this. My favorite comment right here is by this guy named Jay Tender, who did a bunch of clap emojis, like, and he said, "Thank you, sir. You said everything I wish I could say about Bowlestrek's stupid arguments, and even had the courage to mock him. Thank you for making my day, and take care of yourself." Well, thank you, Jay Tender. And I'm doing the same thing with this video, and probably in other future videos where I talk about Bowlestrek. Because obviously, I didn't think I would talk about this guy again, but since he decided to, like, you know, show his little grubby hands back onto YouTube, I felt like, you know, he came back. I gotta, you know, I gotta, commentate on him. And there's probably gonna be more to come. It's probably not gonna be a regular thing, but probably just expect one like every so often. But yeah, Bowlestrek is back. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more episodes of Came From England or just mediocre plush content in general. Be sure to turn on the notification bell so you get notified each time I upload a new episode of A Came From England or any other series on my channel. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. And that's about it. This is Tyler from the Character Workshop, signing out. And next time on A Came From England, I'm going to be going back into the world of Blackadder, but it's going to be much different this time, and on a bigger scale too.
How does it taste? How does that dick taste, my friend? How does it taste? How does that dick taste, my friend?